we start with big news in the world of golf as the PGA Tour, DP World Tour, and the Public Investment Fund, which owns and operates LIV Golf, announced a newly formed commercial entity to unify the sport. There's a whole lot to unpack in that one sentence, so we bring in Action Network writer Jason Sobel to help break this down. What do we know so far about this merger and what it means for golf?
Yeah, so Maria, still more questions than answers. I don't think anyone saw this coming, and not just myself, not just others in the media, not just the public, but a lot of the players as well. I know we'll get to that, but what we do know so far is that Jay Monahan and Yasser Al-Rumayyan, who's the governor of the Public Investment Fund, they have gotten together and created essentially a merger between not only the PGA Tour and LIV Golf, but the DP World Tour, formerly the European Tour, as well. What does that mean moving forward? Well, we'll have the status quo at least through the remainder of the 2023 seasons for those respective tours. But starting with the 2023-24 campaign, I don't know. All bets are off right now. Again, could we see the likes of Brooks Koepka and Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson, Cameron Smith playing PGA Tour events? Absolutely. Will there still be LIV events? Could a Rory McIlroy actually go play in a LIV event in a team concept? I think that's still very much on the table. I'm not sure how many of the details have really been hashed out by the powers that be who have made this merger. I think there's still a whole lot left to be decided. That, I know we feel like there are a lot of unknowns and a lot of questions for us. I think even the folks that created this merger have questions of their own still moving forward.
In the last year or so, we have heard about so much tension between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf. So how does that tour reconcile partnering with LIV after previous comments made criticizing the morality of the LIV Tour?
It's a great question. It's a great point. And quite frankly, I've said from the beginning of this that I thought Jay Monahan, who he's the figurehead, of course, being the commissioner of the PGA Tour, but of course he's going to get most of the spotlight on him. It's not just him. There are other members of the policy board, other people that are executives in charge, but Jay Monahan is going to get most of that spotlight. And so I've said from the beginning that the arrogance towards LIV Golf, thinking, you know what, they're not going to take away a market share from us. They're not going to steal our players. I thought that was the wrong play. And I thought that over the past year, in saying that, hey, LIV Golf, it's bad people running a bad league and you shouldn't watch it. The PGA Tour is everything good about what golf should be, and they're wrong. They're the bad people over there. It was a really, really poor, I think, image to represent. And now, how do they reconcile that? It's a great question. My answer to that is they probably just don't. They probably just move forward. I mean, this all feels like a simulation anyway. It feels like we're in season 5 of Succession with the board making deals, and most of the people don't even know what's going on behind closed doors anyway, including the players. But my guess is that when Jay is asked, hey, you said this, and this about the Public Investment Fund, about LIV Golf, about those players, do you take it all back now? Go, water under the bridge, don't worry about it. And I just don't think they'll have to reconcile it, quite frankly.
Well, you're someone that's so dialed into this sport, and it seems like you were shocked about the news, and the players as well. So how do the players feel based on your reporting just about this merger, especially those who stayed loyal to the PGA Tour?
Yeah, again, another good question. Another one that, look, I don't have a great answer to yet, but I can tell you that a very, very small number of people knew this was even in the works. We have talked in the past about there being a hypothetical of the PGA Tour and LIV Golf getting together. I never saw it happening. I mean, if we want to talk about people that didn't see it happening, Yasser Al-Rumayyan from the Public Investment Fund was on CNBC earlier today. He was asked whether Greg Norman, the CEO and commissioner of LIV Golf, whether he knew about it. And he said, yeah, sure. I told Greg a few minutes ago. Nobody knew about this, including most of the players. There are a lot of players who are on social media right now on both sides saying, all right, I guess we're all together again. I think the PGA Tour players are a little more incensed about what's going on than the LIV Golf players. Remember, The PGA Tour asked these players for loyalty. They asked them to remain loyal to the PGA Tour. Don't go anywhere. What you're doing is right. What those players are doing is wrong. And essentially, those players who left are now being rewarded. You got your signing bonus. You got to play for a lot of money on LIV. Now, sure, with open arms, we'll welcome you back to the PGA Tour starting in 2024. I think there are going to be a lot of players. There's a player-only meeting at the RBC Canadian Open at Oakdale Golf and Country Club in Toronto later this afternoon. I think that when the players meet with the PGA Tour brass in attendance, there will be a lot of players that are upset about what's going on. And yes, they're going to have plenty of questions, just like the rest of us.
This is tough to process. You mentioned any tournament changes likely wouldn't take effect until next season. The PGA Tour is scheduled to end this season in late August, the DP World Tour and LIV Golf in November. Jason Sobel, thanks for joining us on Green Dot Daily.
Thank you, Maria. Appreciate it.
So reactions are pouring in on social media. Recent PGA Championship winner Brooks Koepka trolling outspoken anti-LIV Tour Golf Channel commentator Brandel Chambly with welfare check on Chambly. Phil Mickelson with simply awesome day today. And finally, Mackenzie Hughes, 67th in the world golf rankings, expressing a common sentiment among PGA players so far. Quote, nothing like finding out through Twitter that we're merging with a tour that we said we'd never do that with.